Good afternoon, everybody. It's David Perlmutter from Quantum Listing, and welcome to our webinar today, Quantum Listing's 2020 Vision. So glad that you are here with us and have given us some of your time. If you do have to jump off at any point, uh, we will be sending around the session uh, in the next day or so. So you'll be able to catch up on anything that you might have missed. Um, Feel free to unmute yourself if you want, or just kind of curious as to where everybody is from. If you want, you can put it in the chat box if you don't want to speak or don't have a microphone. And if you could just tell me where you're from and what your role in the commercial real estate business is, that would be great. Ken Silverling, thank you. South Florida. You got probably much better weather than we have up here today. It's a little chilly up here in New York. Uh, and Ken Harbor, I know you're from my neck of the woods. And Julie, I know where you're from. You're from Massachusetts. All right, so let's get on. We have a lot to cover today, and um, let's go. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to do a quick overview of quantum listing, and then we're going to talk about our vision of commercial real estate's future, the on-demand economy, leads, how we generate leads in the modern world, how collaboration is more important than effort ever, and networking. And then we'll have hopefully some time for your questions. And in the meantime, at any point, if you want, you can enter a question into the chat box, and let's get going. I think we're going to, for the most part, use our slide deck today rather than going back and forth, just because we do have a lot to cover, and I want to make sure we have enough time for that. So if you are new to quantum listing and haven't really been one of our users or want to learn what we're actually all about, which is wonderful, this is what we can tell you about quantum listing. We give your listings maximum exposure by offering a range of features so that you can market your properties without breaking your budget. You can post an unlimited number of listings with the ability to market them seamlessly on all forms of popular social media like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. There's no paywall for potential buyers and tenants to view your properties on our site or other fellow brokers. You should know that I started in the commercial real estate business in 1986 as a salesperson, then got my broker's license as quickly as I could. I then developed in the 90s with some partners about 1.3 million square feet of retail space. So quantum listing was developed to address my pain points that I was having with my listing service, which I'm sure most of you can guess which one I was using if I was having pain. Uh, so a lot of the stuff that I poured into quantum listing were things that I wanted to get out as a user, and hopefully you feel the same way. Let's keep on going. So we're nationwide and we're crowdsourced, so we don't have researchers sitting in a office building that you're paying for. We do ask you to add your own listings. If you want to pay a little bit extra, like 50, 60 bucks more a year, we'll help get your listings in for you, but it's fairly gentle tariff if that's what you want to do. All listings are searchable by absolutely anyone with an internet connection. There's no paywall or registration required to search or access your listings and your contact information. I would say almost half of our traffic every day comes through uh, Google searches and other searches like that. So you're getting, you know, people who are looking for what it is you're selling here. So that's a good thing. Uh, all new members get the first 30 days free. After that, it's $79.99 a year. Although I believe in the next week or 10 days, that's going up by $10 a year. If you want to get in on the current pricing, uh, sign up and pay now. Brokers and owners can post an unlimited number of listings for that 79 or $89. You can use Quantum Listing to serve your listings to your website or your blog, and that's at no extra cost. Um, that is a funny. I'm wearing my headset and I realize that my headset's not plugged in. Sorry about that. So uh, so there's no upcharge for sharing your listings via our service on your website. And one of the nice things for you, if you do that, is that if you change the listings on Quantum Listing, then they automatically get changed on your website. You don't have to do it in two places. So that's fairly convenient. And if you want an example of what that looks like, I invite you to go to perlmutterproperties.com, my brokerage business, and you can see our listings there. Um, Quantum Listing shares your listings to its social media feed. So when you add your listing, right away, your listing will be shared to our account on Twitter. I think we have 10,000 followers plus or minus on Twitter. It gets put in a queue to get shared to LinkedIn and Facebook. Twitter has a much higher daily ceiling on the number of posts that you can have. That's why Twitter goes out right away, and LinkedIn and Facebook it could take a period of weeks before your listing gets sent out by us. However, if you do share your own listings to social media and you tag us, we will reshare it because that's what we do. All right. And the other nice thing about Quantum Listing, another nice thing is that we provide you, as long as your membership is current, with real-time analytics for your listing views, the number of times people are going to your profile, how many times they've shared your listings and downloaded information on your listings to their computers. So that's a handy thing. A lot of times, when you do register for Quantum Listing, I would recommend that you take 5 or 10 minutes and build out your profile. By that I mean adding a profile picture, add your social media links. That at the very least your LinkedIn. We don't need your personal Facebook page, uh, but that's what you want to add. It's your choice. And the reason why we say that is that a lot of people, when they're searching for you, your Quantum Listing profile is going to show up in a lot of those Google searches. So when they do land on your page here on Quantum Listing, you'd like it to be as complete as possible so they get to know as much about you as possible. So take a little time and do that. We have free mobile apps on iOS and Android. Uh, so I encourage you to check those out. Uh, Commercial real estate um, is a very collegial business, and it's also competitive. I'll give you that. But it takes multiple folks to make a deal. So you need to work with your peers. And that has really informed the way that I've approached the real estate technology business. So we've been working on these great partnerships with StackSource and BuildOut, Sharp Launch, Levitt Digital, CRE Collaborative, I don't know if Andres from CRE Collaborative is on the call now, but he will be. And so these give you opportunities and your people coming to your site. Uh, so these you can share your listings to some of these other sources through us. Sharp Launch and Build Out. If you're using those marketing services, you can push your listings to us as well through those without having to do any additional data entry. And CRE Collaborative, who I think we'll be hearing from Andreas Senni in a bit, is a new partner of ours, and they're providing data enhancement services for our users. We don't lock you into an annual contract that auto renews if you forget to cancel it. And if in our new payment system, there will be an auto renewal option, but we are human, and if you auto renew and don't want to, you can contact us and we'll help you out with that. We have a new lead capture service. In addition to getting the leads from your own listings, you can pick a market that you want to get leads from, and if people come to our landing page and enter information and want to be helped by a real estate professional, you can get that lead. You can use Quantum Listing to blast your listings to your proprietary distribution list by securely uploading an XLS file. And we are also testing out a new network email blast service. When you join Quantum Listing, we add you to, and everybody else who joins, to a network based on your geography. And so people who are in your geography will be able to get your message. So there will be an additional fee, and that's going to be based on the market and how many users we have in that market. So hope you'll take the advantage of that new service we have. We also have some new on-demand advertising features, which we introduced in the second half of 2019. And you can really pick and choose among these different advertising services to, and you're not locked in long term on any of these things. So, we want you to give them a try, see what works for you. The things that are working for you, you're going to do more of. Things that aren't working for you, you'll move on. And the way you access these on-demand advertising services is by clicking this green button right here, and that will let you promote your listings. You can choose to promote a listing for a week or a month, and that you'll choose the market in which you want those listings to show up at the top of any searches in that market. Other services have similar things to that. Promote your brand. You can choose a market where you want to have your own company or personal marketing message show up at the top of searches in that particular market. I think Zillow has something similar they call Zillow Premier. So, interesting way to get the word out about you and your company. And a new feature that we're really excited about is advertising with Google. So you can use Quantum Listing to help you promote your listings on the Google display network. So, and you pick the market for that as well. And typically it's, within like a 10-mile radius or so of where the listing is located. And, I would encourage you to try this, if you've got a listing that's not going anywhere, and we've all had those. I'm a broker. I know we've had them. You can try to drum up more interest by having it show and display ads on other people's computers in that market. So you can get 10, 20,000 views very easily of that ad. And, marketing is generally a game of numbers, and, hopefully the right person will see that ad and will click on it and contact you, and maybe you'll make a deal. Um, Listing promotion we talked about, so I'm going to move on here, and we talked about that already. That green button, and the one next to it is how you add listings if you're not syndicating to us from Build Out or Sharp Launch. Uh, Listing promotion. Uh, so this is a little into the weeds on how you set that. You choose, you can search your listings for the ones that you want to promote. Click the little green radio button here, and then create your order. See, we have a little note on this that naming listings is key, and that is really important. So when you add your listing title, which is one of the mandatory bits of information you need to add, you want to make it as communicative as possible. And you can see in these three examples, uh, the town and state and the type of asset that it is. Uh, and in 2 out of 3 cases, its actual address, just by looking at the title. So, this becomes important if you're going to be, doing that Google display advertising. Also, really important for that sharing on social media, because if somebody sees, Prime Retail Corner on their Twitter feed, unless they know where it is, the chances they're going to click on it, unless it's in a really amazing picture, um, are pretty slim. So you want to make sure that there's enough information that people will want to click on that. So another way you can promote those listings is when you're actually adding it. There's a little checkbox that you can click, and you click that, and then you'll get the opportunity to decide whether to promote that listing for a week or a month. 1 week, it just costs $2.50 to promote the listing, and for a full month, it's $7.50. Brand promotion. Again, this is an example of what it looks like. So in this instance, I was promoting the Promoter Properties brand in Mount Kisco, New York, which is part of the market that I work in. And so we did a search in Mount Kisco, and that ad showed up before all the listings. And if you want to, make yourself stand up above the crowd a little bit, it's great. If you find it may be a good way to generate new business, if somebody is here not as a broker, but as a tenant or buyer, if they see your ad here, they may want to click on you and engage your services to help them in their search. So worth checking out. And again, that's available by clicking on the little green dot there on your profile page. And uh, next, we're going to talk about the on demand. So you can choose whether you want to promote your brand for a month, 3 months, or a year. You'll pick the duration, click create order, and then you'll add the market that you want your ad to show up on. So it takes very little time. If you need help creating the artwork for that, get in touch with us, and we will be happy to help you out with that. but it needs to be in a 5:6 aspect ratio. So say 500 pixels wide and 600 high. And if you don't know how to do that, or you don't know what a pixel is, don't worry about it. We can help you. It's we're happy to do that. So online advertisement is really exciting. So you use our website to advertise one or more of your listings through the Google Display Network. They show up when these are the ads. We've all seen them a million times. When you're on a website, you'll see a ad for sometimes it's something based on what you've been searching for before, or in this instance, it's based on the geography. So Google, who for better or worse knows just about everything they can about us, they know where you are when you're using your computer, and they will serve ads that are local. And in this case, it might be your listing. Um, and when you when you choose to do this, the listing title that you selected gets is the headline of the ad. The featured image, which is the image that shows up first, is going to be the image in that ad, and then part of the description that you've added on the property will also be in that ad. So and we'll monitor your ads, and sometimes uh, Google basically takes about 24 hours to review every single ad, and sometimes they'll reject it because it doesn't meet their advertising standards. And for instance, um, you can't have exclamation points in the title of your listing because then it won't show up. Then the ad won't show up. You can't mention, if you're talking about, if it's an ad for real estate and you mention the local supermarket in the title, even though it's certainly fine on our site and fine under most circumstances, unless the link goes to that supermarket's own website, they'll reject it for that reason. So we've had enough experience at this point to know the things that we need to do to tweak your ad, but we let Google have the first shot at it. But we're here in your corner to help you with that. And you access the uh, on-demand advertising menu, or the display ads, by going to the online advertising menu, click advertise with Google, then you select the amount of money that you want to spend, and this is a per listing spend. Uh, the minimum is $25 per listing. Uh, I can't give you a hard and fast number as to how many listing views you'll get from your listing for each $25 you spend, because it varies from market to market. But in order to get enough traffic to your listing, you really do need to spend that $25. I would encourage you to consider more, but you can always come back and renew your ad or advertise a different one. So, and the way you do this, once you're on our site, uh, you'll select with a little radio button which properties you want to advertise. You select your budget. You select where you want the ad to be shown. And then if you want to get a reminder when your budget is running low, you click that little box there. Now, we mentioned lead capture briefly before, and so this is sort of a detail of what the lead capture form looks like when people come to the landing page of our website. This is not what they'll see if they're Googling a location, they click on your particular listing. But this is what they get when they go to QuantumListing.com and they're not signed in. So uh, people have the option of either doing their own direct search, or they can search, um, start a process where they can engage somebody like you. So they'll select the asset type and then the trade type, and then hit continue. And as they get a little further in, then once they hit continue, they can put some more detail about what it is in particular they're looking for, and um, they can, in their contact information, of course, and they have to confirm that they want their information to be shared with you. Europe was ahead of the U.S. on this with their GDPR a couple of years ago. Now California has increased the amount of privacy stuff that they require. So we encourage you to do that. And the lead capture form that you're looking at right now is if you are a premium member and your membership is current and you have your listing here, after 15 seconds, this pop-up appears and they can add how much space they're looking for. It pre-fills with the trade type and asset class that they're interested in. They add their contact info. They hit add request, and then if you are current, you'll get this. You'll get an email with a lead. You can also go and find these on the info section on your profile page under leads in case you accidentally delete that email. So another thing we talked about briefly before was our collaboration and our syndication with our syndication partners. And one of the things that we are darn sure of in 2020 is you will all be using more and more real estate technology. And one of the issues with all these different technologies that has developed is that sometimes those technologies don't talk well with each other. Like these ones that you see here, Sharp, Launch, Build Out, Levitt Digital, CRE Collaborative, we have APIs, these automated program interfaces that make sure that our technology works really well together and your data in one is consistent with your data in the next one. But there's now close to, I think, 7,000 different commercial real estate technology companies. So, we all 7,000 of us do not have that capacity right now where we can all talk with each other. It's not, like, I guess everybody has their own proprietary way of doing things, and sometimes it becomes a mess. Even within your own organization, you may have half a dozen different technologies that you're using, and the data gets siloed because it's hard. It's not normalized. You can't shift it between one thing and the other. So one of the great things about our new partner, CRE Collaborative, is that it helps normalize that data and makes it talk with each other. And I think Andreas Senni, their CEO, is on our webinar now. Andreas, if you are there, and you are. Terrific. Why don't you give us a few minutes on what you guys are doing and how you're bringing the world of CRE technology and CRE professionals closer together.
Absolutely. Thanks, David. I couldn't be more excited about what you guys are doing over there at Quantum Listing. What CRE Collaborative does is it connects all the disparate technologies. In effect, it provides a augmented database or a data storage platform where, for instance, broker A comes onto Quantum Listing puts up their listing, great, but they also have need access to a leasing commission system, and they also have a CRM. We take all the data from all the different streams, create a single augmented database that then makes itself available to all the other technologies. So think of it as this one simple platform connecting the industry from end to end.
There you go. In a nutshell, very concise and well said there, Andreas. Thank you for that. We also have a few other partners, and these are more on the marketing and promotion side with the news funnel. And I neglected to thank them at the very beginning, so I'm glad there's this little reminder midway through. The news funnel is our sponsor for today's webinar and all of our webinars now. And we thank them for that. If you're not familiar with the news funnel, it's a terrific website and app, and they're about to launch a new version of their website. I hope I didn't spill beans that I shouldn't have. But what they are is a news aggregator for the commercial real estate industry. So it's a single source where you can find news from all the publications you're reading or wished you were reading in a single place. And you can customize your news feed on it as well. And absolute great resource. One of the other neat things that they allow us and you to do is you can have that news feed appear on your website. So, and there's no charge for that unless there's customization. And it's a great reason for people to come back to your website if they know that's where they're getting, their relevant commercial real estate news. So, if you have a website, I would encourage you to check that out. Atypical is a sister company of the News Funnel, and they specialize in commercial real estate marketing, and they also create content for your website if you want, where they're doing blog posts for you. They'll help you out with your social media. It's great. The broker list, run by Linda Day Harrison, is a great resource, completely free to the users. They're unlike us. They are supported by advertising, from commercial real estate vendors. But you can promote your listings there. If you're looking for a broker in another state because you have a client who's looking for space in another state, needs to find somebody to refer to, Brokerlist is a great resource for that. So you can find them at thebrokerlist.com. So please check out all three of those. Excuse me. Quantum Listing Networks is another thing. We, I know I've said it before, but nobody does a commercial real estate deal all by themselves. So networking in all its forms is really, really important if you are going to stay in this business and be successful. And so one of the things that we do on Quantum Listing is when you join, either based on where your listings are, or if you don't have listings, we'll typically use your phone number as a guide. We'll place you in a statewide network. In a few states, we have sub-regional networks also, so that it makes it real easy for you to see other brokers on Quantum Listing that are in your geographic area of interest, and you'll be able to see their listings. And the best part is in the stream there, you get to see the flow of new listings in your particular market. So it can save you a lot of time in having to search through the site to see what's new, because whatever is new is right there at the top of that feed. And this is accessible on the left-hand sidebar from the left-hand sidebar on your profile page. In fact, let's see. And then groups are similar to networks, except they're a little more self-service. We have, in addition to geographically based groups where you can post your haves and wants, you can and sort of converse with people in your area. The groups also, we have groups set up for each of the asset classes. So if you're a industrial broker, and it puts you in touch with the whole community on our site of industrial brokers if you choose to join that group, and those other ones are in that group. So they're a great thing to explore. And if you are really alpha, you can start your own group, and you can decide if it's going to be a private group where you invite the folks in it, and it's like can be like a chat room for you, where you also see each other's listings, or you can make it a public group and have anybody who searches the groups join. It's really up to you, and it gives you some control over over that process. And you can invite people who are on Quantum Listing to join your group. You can invite people who are not on Quantum Listing to join Quantum Listing, and then by using the link that you send, they'll automatically become part of your group. So pretty cool feature that we have there. We also, like a lot of the social sites that you are used to by now, have our own social feature where you can follow other users and they can follow you. And when you do follow somebody, you'll be able to access their profile and listings from that left-hand sidebar on your profile page, so you can see all their listings and their contact information really easily without having to do any searching for that. So one of the things that we added in 2019 is the ability to blast your listing to your own proprietary list. And this is an example of the form you fill out, and there's no additional charge for you to do this. And if you're not currently emailing your listings to people, you really need to be doing that, because there are different statistics, and MailChimp, I think, claims that the ROI for email is $38 for every dollar spent. Excuse me, spent. I've seen it, $44, $45. So, using email is great. I mean, yes, we get hundreds of emails every day, and you want it to stand out from the crowd. But when you do use this, have your featured picture, you'll be able to choose a little message that you want to put on it. It brings them to Quantum Listing. They can easily then see all your other listings, and there's no extra charge for it. So I hope you do it, because it is a great resource for you. And if you're using MailChimp, that's a great service. If you're using many other wonderful services out there, do that. And you don't necessarily have to give one up and for the other. You can try this, see how it compares to whatever it is that you're using. Even if you're just using Outlook, this is just another way to maybe stand out from the crowd and let people see what you got. Here is an example of what one of those emails looks like that comes from Quantum Listing. So it goes, and when people reply to these emails, it goes to you. It doesn't come back to us. It really just takes a few clicks to use the tool, and all you need to do is be a current premium member of Quantum Listing to be able to use this service. There's no upcharge beyond the normal membership cost. Here is a little video which I'm going to show you, just to show you how quickly. Hi, it's David from Quantum Listing. I want to show you how easy it is to send an email blast in Quantum Listing. First, select a listing. Scroll down to the sharing icon. Click the email icon. Click Add an XLS file. You can add an XLS or XLSX file. Add a subject. And add a message. Scroll down and hit send. And that's all there is to it. So, that was all done in real time. So, and you can see that took less than a minute. Granted, I know what it, I've done it a few times, so I know how to do it, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do it. So, please do try that. Oh, sorry. Did my, okay, there we go. It looks like it got stuck there for a second. Oh, and I see somebody left a message. All right, so I mentioned earlier our new network email blasts. So these network email blasts are something you would contact us, and you tell us which listing you want to promote and in what market, and we'll put together the email for you and send it out, and it goes to your fellow Quantum Listing users that are in your network. The pricing on these, really varies because some networks, have hundreds and hundreds of people, and some have, 20 people. So I'm looking at you, Idaho. Actually, I don't know which ones. Idaho may have a lot of people. Sorry if I cast aspersions on Idaho. So the you can contact us and we'll get your price. And again, we're not going to drain your wallet with this. So something else to check out. And look, in today's world, especially the beginning of the year, you want to get that pipeline full. I know that I'm willing to do new things to try to generate business in my brokerage, and hopefully you guys all have open minds and are willing to try new things also. And all right, let's keep going. So on-demand pricing is on this slide here. You can see it's $2.50 a week for listing promotion, $7.50 for a month per listing. Brand promotion, we went over this quickly before. It's $50 for a month, $125 for 3 months, $400 for a year. Lead capture, you can also buy in 1, 3, or annual increments at $10, $24.99, or $79.99. Online advertisement has 3 options of $25, $50, or $100 per listing. Premium membership, you see this is about to change. Right now you can get a month at a time, but we're switching to annual because almost everybody was doing annual memberships since it's so reasonably priced. That's going up to $89.99. This is the first time in the 5 years that we've been around that we've raised our prices. So hope you don't mind too much. And the email blasts from your individual listing to your own proprietary list is included with your membership. We want to make sure that you know how to use Quantum Listing so that you get the most value out of it as possible. And so we've got a bunch of different resources for you. We have a How It Works section that has a ton of different articles. In fact, somebody once looked at it and said, "Oh my God, there's so many articles. This must be really complicated." Uh, it isn't really complicated, and most of it you'll be able to figure out how to use by yourself. We're just really paranoid that one person isn't going to know how to use one feature, so we try to teach everybody how to use all the features. Um, so it's not hard, but people have different comfort levels with technology, particularly if it's something new. So how it works is a good way, good first line of uh, inquiry on how to figure out something. You still can't figure it out. We love talking to you. So there's a schedule a demo button at the top of, I think, just about every page on our website. Click that button, schedule 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is that you think you need, and we're happy to walk you through it. On the longer sessions, the half hour and hour sessions, we love to make you the presenter so that your hands are on the keyboard and you're doing the stuff, and we're talking you through the different steps, uh, so that it makes it hopefully easier for you to learn what it is that you do want to know. We can call us anytime, and if we're awake, we'll pick up the phone. If not, we'll get back to you real soon. Um, we're on the East Coast, so just be mindful of that when you're calling, and leave a message. We get back to you. We're really very responsive. Uh, the Oh, I missed the intercom on the bottom of most web pages on the site. There's a little circle with a smiley speech bubble on the bottom right corner of each page. You click on that, you can start a chat with us. I'm sure you've seen those types of things on lots of sites. Ours is not a chat bot, it is a real human that will respond to you, and as such, it may not be instantaneous. So if we get back to you while you're on the site, it'll show up in that chat box. Otherwise, you'll get an email from us. Uh, Weekly webinars. Well, you're here today, so I don't need to tell you about our weekly webinars. We do blog posts every week. They vary from time to time. Sometimes it's about features on our site. Sometimes we've had some really great authors come and speak with us on business related topics. Two that come to mind. One was on bullying in the workplace and how to prevent it. And if you are the subject of workplace bullying, how to deal with it. There's a guy, Mac Packness, who has a book available, which you can find on Amazon. Packness is Paknis. And I think it's called, Successful Leaders Aren't Bullies, something like that. I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. We had Nir Eyal, who is a behavioral designer, and he wrote, his first book was called Hooked, which was how to make habit forming technology. And his follow up book was Indistractable, I think because his first book worked too well. This gives you a way to learn how to hack back some of the distractions that we all uh, succumb to way too often from our various devices. So it's Indistractable by Nir Eyal. So check that one out also. Uh, and then we often, when we do have guests, but not always, we'll write blog posts about some of those webinars. Um, and the webinars and the blog posts, we try to cover topics that are of importance to commercial real estate brokers. We had one a couple weeks ago on tokenization, uh, which is a new way to potentially finance some of your bigger development projects. We have had on social media and marketing. Uh, we've had it on the survey that's coming out soon, the DNA of CRE, which is sort of an annual benchmarking survey where you can answer and then a few months later see the results, um, and see how your practice compares to your peers across the country. So always super interesting. We do ask for your feedback every once in a while. And oh, if you want to be featured, if you're a premium member and you have listings on our site, we have this really cool series on our blog called the Quantum Lister series, where we will profile you, and you can be internet famous. So that's always good. Julia, I see, has put in the chat that if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box. We usually have a very shy crowd, so if you don't ask a question, you can unmute yourself also, but if you feel more comfortable asking it typewritten, that's fine. We do have a couple of webinars scheduled. Next week it'll be quantum listing for build out users. And build out again is one of our syndication partners. And if you're a build out user, you can choose us to syndicate your listings to from build out. And you check a couple of boxes and your stuff flows automatically. Then on February 5th, we've got a decade, 10 years and 10 slides, a decade of commercial real estate in review with Liz Bertholet of Newmark Knight Frank up in Massachusetts. Liz is a brilliant researcher. She did a webinar with us back in 2019, and about things going on in her market and her area of expertise, and really eloquent, interesting woman. So please sign up for that, whether it's to watch it live or catch the replay. And we do have a few more minutes, so if you do have questions, I will be hanging out here waiting for you to answer. I will pause the recording, and thank you so much for being with us today. And Julia, thank you for your help in putting our presentation together today. And of course, I want to be sure to thank once again our wonderful sponsors, the News Funnel. Thank you today for your time. I hope it warms up in South Florida for you, Ken. And we will see you on the next webinar. Thanks.